Record. Welcome to the Superconscious Scaling Masterclass. I am going to give you as much value as I can in this short time that we have together. And we're going to uncover. There was this one turning point for me where I shifted what I'm going to teach you, and my whole entire life with my business, with money, with health, love, everything changed from this. And I know it feels and sounds like sometimes a little bit too good to be true. And it's like, oh, really? Like, is there one thing? But I can tell you, I was looking for a long time. I've spent $1 million on my personal development, on my business growth. I've been in my business for 10 years. You know, I spent 33 years studying psychology and like, all this time in my life trying to find this thing that was this like golden nugget that was going to change the game and create with power. And this is what I found. And when I did find it, it is the most revolutionary thing. So I'm excited to bring it to you. Before we go into tonight, I'd love to hear what led you here. Why did your soul bring you here? What is it that you intend you'd love to get out of it? Put that in the chat, or if you want to unmute, you're welcome to. I'm just recording this because there are some people who are in different time zones and I want to give them that. Go for it,
It,
hun.
it's my admin day, and I
Admin.
saw your email.
Oh, great. Good. I'm glad you
I'm
joined us.
procrastinating.
Well, this is
I
going to
thought,
be
no, I'm
worthwhile
not.
procrastination.
I thought, no, I'm not. This is for my benefit and for what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you this is the most time well spent, like in this sort of refinement. I'm about to go to India for 2 weeks and I'm offline, not doing any business, and I'm on a meditation retreat. And that is going to be the most well spent time in my whole business, in my life. And I know when I come back, it's going to grow so crazy on the other side. And because when you spend that time investing in you and in silence and stillness and doing the deep spiritual energetic work, everything like quantum shifts happen, right? So I'm excited for that for you, but I'm glad you saw the email. Beautiful. Okay, so who else? What was their intention? What do you want to get out of it? Why are you here? Incredibly excited for tonight. Meditation. Amazing. So tell me, put in the chat or unmute. Why are you here? What led you here? What does your soul want for you out of this? Put it in the chat. Step into the next version of me. Beautiful. It's time for my business to become sustainable. I love that, hun. This is going to definitely support that and get into the keys of that. Who else? Put it in. The reason why I'm like spending this time with this is that you really need to get clear on your intentions and what you want to receive in order for it to open the doorway. If you're fluffy about it or you're waiting on me to give you everything and like you don't even know why you're here or what you're wanting, or you're not driving in your life and you're not driving this session. And some people will come and watch this and they'll go, yeah, meh, didn't get much out of it. And others will be leaning in and listening with every cell of their body, and they will have a massive transformation after this and a massive creation. And I've had it so many times in the work I've done and the coaches I've been a part of and things too. But it's about how willing you are to be the creator of this and to drive this and create, get out of this what you can. So put it in the chat because a bunch of you still haven't yet, and you might be putting kids to bed and whatever, but put it in the chat. I'm going to keep moving as you're doing that. So I wanted to share with you a little story of my introduction to what I'm going to share, and then we're going to dive into the how to of it all. I'm going to keep it super practical, super insightful. As you're finding you're experiencing things, learning things, type away any questions or whatever you have, type away, and we'll work on that as well. I want to make it super interactive for you. So I don't know how much you know of me and my journey, but for me, I say there was like a time in my life, for like up to 33 years of my life, where it was like just struggle town. I call it struggle town. I call it problem after problem, like issue after issue. It wasn't just in my business, which I'd had by this point about nearly 5 years. It was no 4 years at this point. But in every way of life, every space of life, I felt like I was struggling and facing problem after problem that nothing I learned, nothing I learned at uni, nothing I learned with coaches, nothing I uncovered fixed it. And it often actually just made it worse. Has anyone ever felt like they've tried everything, they've done everything, they've actually gone and got all this help, but they've done all the things they've said, and it's just gotten worse? Has anyone felt like that? Where and it's like the ball you're just spinning, swimming to, and it's like pushing it further away. And the harder you seem to go, the more it seems to push, right? That was what I felt in this whole time in my life. And you know, I started my business at the beginning. At the end of my marriage, I was married together with my husband for 9 years. And then we broke up when I was 6 months pregnant. A really traumatic thing happened. And I was facing being a single mom before I was a mom, breaking up with the person I loved for 10 years and knew. And then I also had no job. I didn't have money coming through because I hadn't got a job and I hadn't got my business really fully going yet. My health was super bad. And this was after all this uni, all this counseling, like all this help, all this stuff I tried to do. Struggle, struggle. And it just led to this place of really dark, hard times. Fast forward 4 years, getting every business coach I could under the sun, every shadow works insecurity coach, like doing all of these things in business to run away from that reality, to not be this like fear I had, which was like a homeless single mom or in the poverty line or like, struggling with my reality, struggling with mental health, struggling with my body, struggling with relationship, trying to run away from all that and create this life for me and my son. 4 years later, spinning, trying, doing everything they say, I get into $20,000 of debt. My business is the worst it's ever been. I have this coach that I'm doing everything they tell me to do, every strategy thing. I have 20 sales calls and everyone says no to me. And I'm paying all this money out to this coach, but I'm not making anything. And I am spinning. I'm not just sitting there like listening to what they say and then not doing. I am doing everything. But it's stuck. I'm struggling. I'm in survival. It's not working. Then, I'm at the full reality of about to lose my house in that I was in a rental and I couldn't pay my rent. I was about to lose it, right? All my worst fears are coming to reality, even though I tried so hard. I felt like this hamster wheel Groundhog Day, just tried so hard to get away from it. That was what created. Then I uncover and bump into something called the superconscious. And this mentor like falls in my lap. I'm like basically like praying to the universe, praying to God, whatever is out there. Like I need help. Like I've tried everything. I've dealt all my cards. There's nothing left. Like help me. And this mentor comes and it's work on the superconscious. And what I'm going to tell you today, I'm going to show you how I shifted things, what happened in that 1 month. But I went in that 1 month for a whole lifetime of struggle with money, with business, with all my jobs in the past, everything to have my first $20,000 month, and I never went backwards ever again in my business. It only grew and grew and grew since that point. After 33 years of struggle, 1 month happened, 5.5 years now, never had that issue again. Health gets better naturally, not striving, trying, whatever. I'm the most healthy, vital, alive person. Abundance comes naturally, easily. My business grows with natural ease and flow. Yes, there's issues. Yes, there's things that come up, but I know how to navigate them, how to move through them. And I have deeper relationships, deeper levels of love, deeper levels of connection and authenticity that I've never had. All of my life started opening and blooming when I had a life of trying to fix it and figure it out, and it never shifted, right? And I'm going to unpack for you what happened in that month. What did I uncover? What was the secret that I saw that sort of made it like everything I touched started to turn to gold? Or didn't, but I knew how to shift it into gold when it was stuck. So that's what I want to reveal to you, particularly through the business lens. But this is something that if you apply this to all of life, it will shift everything. So tell me, what's your key takeaway from that? What did you hear? Pop it in the chat. And whoever's on no camera, if you can come on camera, that would be amazing because I like to see faces. It also helps you fully be present and receive your cells of your body, everything we're going to see, because it's not just listening here, it's really receiving fully, presently. The sudden shift, yes. The radical change is possible, yeah, for sure. And this again was of a lifetime of the struggle, right? And this, bang, shifted. Tell me, hun, what do you see?
I hear what you're saying and I see what you're saying and I've been there. And it's not letting that I've learned now to not allow those struggles to overtake, yeah, because they're
Yeah.
not investing. And yeah, it's taken time, everything's been changing on the planet, as we all are aware. I'm not blaming that, but we have to deal with that, yeah, because it's that push pull. And I think the main thing for me with the biggest shift is that I said to myself as well, I don't need to work hard. I'm going to work smart.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
will seek others to assist me to delegate if they can help me because I love what I do. I don't like the admin.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We need to know, yeah, what is it, where is our energy best spent for sure.
Yeah. And I've become clearer and clearer. And it's no accident that I saw your email.
No, it
It
never
was right.
is. None of this is,
It was
right? I
no
trust all of
accident.
you are meant to be
Yeah.
here for a certain reason, for sure. Amazing,
Yeah.
hun. Thank you.
Thank you.
The
Yeah.
long walk
Thank you.
up, thanks. The long walk up the mountain and then seeing the incredible view, jump off the mountain, just free fall. Yeah. And I really love what, you're saying there, Hannah, is about not letting our problems and pieces define us as well. Because one of the biggest lessons, like in all of that time, I say there was one moment, and yes, there was one moment, but all of these other changes or things I'd learned throughout the time before that, I see it all as like there's threads to your breakthrough and there's attachments and threads, and you clip one and you clip another and you learn one lesson and you learn another, and the threads break, and it's like your breakthrough's nearly there, and then like in that 1 month my breakthrough happened, and I've had more breakthroughs since that and more things that I've had to move. But one of the biggest lessons I learned at that point, and we're going to go into this more, is self-compassion is so vital. Because at that point, I had so much guilt, so much shame. I was making all of these problems mean all this stuff about me, these horrible words in my head. But in that month, I learned to love and accept myself and see where I was at just was where I was at. And we're going to go into that in a moment. So, what I want to talk to you today is about creation versus problem solving is at the heart of it. Most people live in a problem solving orientation. It's very ego driven, it's survival driven, it's fixing, it's avoiding, it's blaming, it's worrying, it's probleming, and it's trapped in a loop because if we're problem solving, we're attached to the problem is the focus, and we're just looping around trying to everything I did in the uni or my coaches and all these things I was doing. I was like trying to run away from my problems, which meant that I just was focused on them and I kept looping back into them and I was attached to them, right? And what I want to talk to you today is about the transformational, process, which happens when you shift to a creative orientation, your soul, your imagination, your vision, love, you're aligned to these universal laws, your spirit, your true end results. Like, this is what the journey of creating focusing is. And in that month, and I'm going to break it down how to do this, that is the shift that happened for me. And it didn't mean that I never focused on a problem and I never complained and I never blamed someone and I never told my friend, oh, this person blah, 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 bitched about it. I still did that, but less, a bit less and a bit more on that. Doesn't mean we've got to be perfect and, oh, like high vibe vision. I'll unpack this, right? But I also want to say, and we'll unpack this too, and I want you to just tune in right now of where you feel you're at. A lot of the reasons why you have not gotten there yet, or you haven't had the breakthrough fully yet, or you haven't had the sustainable breakthrough yet, is because you're working in one lens and field of life, or two, but not all three at once. And, you know, there is a physical layer. The first 4 years of my business, I was trying to work in the strategy realm. I was trying to work in the physical realm. I was trying to do this marketing technique, this sales thing, do what this person said. And in that 20 sales calls, and that time I was with that strategy coach, which was another, one of the last main strategy coaches I had, I was trying to do all these things in this physical realm, but I was ignoring the emotional realm. I was ignoring the spiritual realm. And so I wasn't breaking through until I addressed all of them. And this is why you may go to strategy coaches and they tell you to do all this stuff and you do it, but it's not happening because you're not one dimension. You're not in one dimensional person. Yes, that's one thing we need to look at. You got to be a great businesswoman to get your, dharma out in the world, but it's not the only thing. And a lot of the things they tell you to do actually takes you away from your energetic frequency. It makes you feel gross and yeah. So then it actually makes the emotional stuff worse, right? So I'm going to unpack that. The second reason Um, oh, nice to see you on the camera, ladies. I'm seeing some more people on the camera. I love it. I get so excited when I see faces. Hey, Kendall, good to see you, hon. So the other thing is then, and I've done this too, I joined the emotional world, the embodiment world, the shadow work world, you know, the people that do the trauma informed coaching, counseling, whatever. I worked deeper in that world, but then you can get so sucked into healing cycles and looping this and solving this inner child in this, that you don't actually go create anything. You're just sitting there facing off on stuff all the time, right? And then, I joined more of the spiritual realms or like worked more on the superconscious, worked more into intuition, worked more in how I connect up higher into like meditation and like all these other practices to transcend what's happening, to see from this higher space. However, when we are fully in that, we're not addressing the others, we can spiritually bypass sometimes. Or we don't go in deep into enough to the emotion, or we don't actually take any practical action and we're just sitting there meditating, hoping everything will get better. So it's the amalgamation, and what I'm here to stand for and teach you today is how we bring all of these worlds together. And when I coach someone, I'm looking at them with all my lenses and I'm working on everything that comes up. We're not just looking at one. And that is why breakthrough happened for me, because all of those things are addressed, not one. That's why clients of mine have it. And I'll share more about this. Does that make sense? Has anyone ever been stuck in any of those worlds? Fear not. You can break through when you have the balance. Okay, so let's go into this. So we're going to unlock your superpower of your superconscious and help you scale and grow and in exponential quantum speed levels things through this. Okay. So the first thing I want to address is what I call in the alchemy world, it's called Negredo. It's your emotional world. We're going to go into that first. And there's a key distinction on how to work with this. So, a lot of the time when we are in a problem or we have something that we're having come up in our life, our business isn't moving, money's not as good as we want, whatever is happening, right? We fixate on the problem, we try to resolve it, we try to respond to circumstances, and we make it mean all these things about us. We judge ourselves, we're bad. How do I then fix it? And we look back to our past or people's past and how they fixed it. And it's all about processes and beliefs and like, but then we're like really fixated and worried about risks and survival and preoccupied with all these things. And it's all of this drama and focusing on how and the process and the past and is leaking our power. And it's actually assigning the power to the problem and what's happening currently. All good, hun. Just good that you're here. So this is how people mostly address like the emotional world or our current reality. And that means that we see it as we're separate, we're limited. I don't know how to possibly get out of this. This is just my reality. For 33 years of my life, my dad struggled with money. He lost jobs. He couldn't always keep them. It was out of his control, out of his power. So I felt the same. And I had jobs that were the same. And I had my business that was the same. And I just felt powerless. And because the past was like that for him, and then he passed it down to me, and the past was like that for me, and I fixated on that. And I thought that was real and true. And my focus was fully on the current reality and all the emotions and all the pain and all the terror and all the feelings and all the powerlessness and all the unworthiness. My whole energy was just fixated on where I was at right now. And I made that mean all this stuff about me. This is often how we deal with the emotional world and how we deal with our current reality right now. And this is why we loop and get stuck here, because all of our energy is just consumed, spinning around. And I want you to think of this analogy. If this is what we're doing, it's like you're in a car and you're wanting to head somewhere. You want to go to the Maldives or you want to go to some beautiful place or whatever, and you're in the middle of somewhere you don't want to be. I want you to see this approach is the same as getting in your car and just driving around in a circle and donutting. And like you're using all the energy and you're using all the fuel and you're like moving, but you're not getting anywhere, right? Has anyone ever felt like this before? Yeah. So what do we do instead? what we do now in this, and you think about this GPS, you need to put in your location in the map. You need to. If you want to know where you want to go, you have to put in where you are. But when you follow the GPS, does the GPS keep telling you this is where you are, this is where you are, this is where you are? Oh no, you don't like it. Oh no, the traffic's bad. This is where you are. There's all these hills and does that what it says? Does it just fixate on just like where you are? Does it just show you on the map this big dot and like this is it, this is it? No, it just is like, oh, you're here, okay. Oh, you want to go here, okay. Next step, this. Next step, this. Next step, this. Like that's what it does. It doesn't focus and fixate on the current space. It does. The GPS lady doesn't say, "Oh, you're in a really bad space here. I can't believe you've been here, and I can't believe you've been here for so long in all of your life." She don't, she doesn't say that. She's just like, "Oh, you're here. You want to go there? Okay, here, here, here." Right? Imagine how annoying it would be if your GPS just was moaning and bitching about where you are and how far you are from where you want to be, and like, but that is your head, and you're thinking, "Why am I not moving forward?" You got FM radio playing, this place is shit, I am shit, this has been so long, it's shit, right? I know I'm making a silly joke, but this is what we do. Who's done that before? I have. I've known all this and I've done that, right? So you need to, instead of all that, actually, before we say what we want to do, just sit in a circle right now and go, how much of my energy, focus, time, really honestly with yourself, and you can put it in the chat if you want, or you don't have to say it if you don't. But how much of your time, energy, focus right now has been on problems? Sit in a circle of like problems. What percentage of your time, your energy has been there? You don't have to put it in, but just know for yourself. If you want, you're welcome to. But we got to be honest about this because this is often where everyone's going and spinning. And that is why we are spinning and looping through the same problems throughout our life over and over again on repeat. So, what we need to do is we just need to be aware of where we are. We don't need to give it a lot of energy. We don't need to make it mean all this stuff. We just have to say, this is where I'm at. No worries, hun. This is where I'm at. This is what's happening. This is the exact spot I'm in. We're not obsessing over it. We're not giving it any other meaning. We're not giving it any power. Just this is just the data of this is the spot. And the clearer we can be of where and what, and the clearer we know how to move next. That's what it's for, right? So in the emotional realm, obviously there's a lot more I can go into this. Sometimes there's deeper emotional things to release. Sometimes there's more embodiment stuff. There's things, but the main thing I want you to understand is we just have to have awareness of where we are right now. That's the main thing. Now, next point. You then, once you've popped in your location, you then need to pop in like where you desire, what you desire next, where you want to be. And this is the albedo phase of alchemy and superconscious. And it's more of the spiritual realm that we're now talking about. And when you pop in your vision and when you pop in your location where you want to be, it needs to be what you want for its own sake, what you would love. If I said to you, let's go for a drive, a ride, go on a plane, whatever, wherever you want in the world, wherever, you've got no problem, nothing restricting you, like just go, let's go wherever you want. Like that has to be the energy of this limitless, boundless desire of where you want to be. Like that has to be the energy of what you pop in for your location of vision. Because what often happens is someone goes, oh, I'm here and I've only got this amount of petrol, or I've only got 5 minutes. So I've just got to go to the local Coles down the street or local, like whatever your supermarket is, right? That's all I can afford. That's all I can do. That's where my vision can be. We don't actually go and dream and desire and head for the like highest, beautiful fullness of what we want. We go, this is my relation, like this is where I'm at. This is the problems I've got. I'm going to try and just dream just up the road because I don't have enough. I don't have money. I don't have these conditions. I don't have the resources. I don't have connections. I've got this past. They dictate, their vision is dictated by where they are in their past still. A lot of the time we cut down our vision, and that's why we don't actually head to the bigness of what we desire. So it needs to come. And the best way I want you to answer this, and I would love you to answer this in the chat or unmute because this is really, really powerful. Imagine life is amazing and that there is no problems. You've got nothing. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to solve. You don't need money. You don't like all of it's all there. Ample, abundance, limitless. What do you want? What would you love? What would you love to create in your business? What would you love to do in your life? What would you love to do with your time? From a place of wholeness, abundance, what would you love? Not from the place of worry and problems and responding to problems. What would you love for just joy? Put in the chat or unmute. Tell me what comes to you when I say that. You know, for me, while you're putting it in the chat, it's often just like speaking, channeling, doing like deep transformational work, spiritual, like teaching, spiritual learning. Like I love them, like, but just connect to one thing. What would you love? What do you like absolutely adore? Home on the farm, wide open, large, lots of people around. Business where I get to be a part of thousands of women's lives transformation, peace, time. Beautiful. Who else? Stillness. That's like that sense of spaciousness I feel, hun. Yeah, beautiful. Put it in. What would you love? Or unmute. What would you love? Just for its own sake, not trying to fix a problem. The farm. Farm's got the theme tonight. Surrounded by loved ones. Amazing. And again, like feel into like what is it about the farm? What is it? The spaciousness or like freedom. Beautiful. Valued, appreciated, connection, love. Amazing. Nature. Fresh air. Phenomenal. So I want you, like, when you're doing this and looking at this, you also just need to connect to what do you love about this? What's the big excitement about this underneath it? What's the real desire? Because whenever I've had a launch of a program and offer, like, so for instance, when I've got a program called Alchemy, and it's made over 1 million over the last few years, of running it, and it's been a phenomenal program that like I absolutely adore, and I've run now like nearly 10 rounds of it, and had hundreds of women come through like and would work with me in this, and I love it. And why do I love it? Because when I first thought about creating it or things, like I had to connect to what I wanted. I was on like 10, 20, 30K months, and I wanted to have 10 women in, which would have meant a 100K launch. And I had to look at like, why did I want this? What was my heart really wanting and desiring in this? What was the key excitement about it? And when I tuned in, it was like the transformation for them and their life completely exploding in the most beautiful ways of what would ricochet out of that at the end of the work together. And them tapping into their divinity, them tapping into their power, them tapping into the secret of life. That and the magic they'd have, and then what I felt from it, that was what I was excited about. Their magic, their transformation. And when I tapped into that, and I kept moving all the fears and all the worries about I wasn't worthy of 100K and 10 women and whatever, but I went back to what I key desired. First step, I told you, went back to that. In 1 month, I took 3 actions of a strategy action. in that whole month, and I had a 100K launch in the first time I'd ever created that from following what I'm telling you. Because I knew what I was afraid of and I knew what my current reality was and how all of this emotional stuff, but I also knew what I desired and I wanted from the key emotion. And I moved with that. I did the same with my Bali retreat. I'll give you guys an example of another example to see how this works. Because when I tell you this and explain it, a lot of people think, oh, this is it's a bit vague, or I don't know how to do it, or I don't know if it works. Like every launch I've done, this is what I've followed. These are the steps, and it's shifted. Kendall was on my Bali retreat, but at the beginning when I was launching it, I was fixated and worried about my image and reputation, and if I had no one come on the retreat or one person, how bad that would look. Like that was what my current reality or my fear was, right? And I had to be aware of that and see that. But then I went, why do I want this retreat? Like, what do I want about it? Why am I excited? What's my big vision about it? What's the emotion here? Like, and I was like, I want to connect with women and travel and transform. Like the three things I love: traveling, transforming lives, and connecting with women. Like I wanted all of that. And I saw that very vividly. And the second I connected more to that vision and less to my fear and worries, the whole retreat filled up. And I had my first overseas retreat that was full. I can tell you time and time again, and I might tell more stories later, how following this process is created. And beforehand, I could throw $20,000 at ads. I could do every action and strategy under the sun, and nothing would happen. No one would sign up. Nothing would happen. And then I do this work, I'm telling you, and bang, the floodgates open, right? So how you work with this spiritual realm of albedo is you need to ask yourself, when all is well, I am whole, complete, I have everything I want, what do I want? What do I love? For love's sake, not for any other reason, but for love's sake. What am I most excited about in this? Right? Okay. I'm going to show you the last step, and then we're going to do some pieces around this. Then you've put in your GPS, the location of exactly where you're at, and you've done your emotional work, you've done your Negredo work, you put in where you want to go, and you've done your albedo, you've done your spiritual sort of connecting to your superconscious, I call it, work. Then you need to do the next phase, which is then the physical realm. This is where it relates to physical things. This is called rubedo. And what this is you need to move. You need to take steps. You need to follow through. You need to complete. Everything I've ever done in my business or in life or anything I've created, the reason it's worked and it's thrived or is because I set out, when I begin something, I complete it no matter what. It's just my inner peace. Even if it doesn't look like it's working, even if it looks like it's going to be a flop, it looks like it's going to fail, it looks like it's going to shit, I follow through no matter what. No matter if it feels good. Once I start, I go and I keep going. And I do not let whatever comes up take me off course. I do not let things take me off distractions, and because that's my ego just trying to distract me and take me away. I follow through no matter what. In the GPS, you put in where you are, you put where you want to go. It will tell you next step is here. Next step is here. Take this turn now. And it doesn't tell you the whole journey because it's going to confuse you. It just tells you in the next one, and you take it and then it tells you the next one. You hit a roadblock, you hit some bad traffic, you have a car crash in your journey. It reroutes you and says, go around this way. But I want you to know that steps come from the vision and where you're heading. They do not come from where you are. You're not trying to drive reverse through to the vision, right? You're focusing on the vision. That's got the energy, and you're moving with that, and you're letting whatever guidance come up with that. And sometimes the guidance is really random, and it doesn't even make fully sense, or it's not. It sometimes it's a bit bizarre. but it always leads that way. Sometimes the map will take you in this spot and you're like, where am I? What, but it leads you where you need to go. I had this event that I was running, and it was called the Alchemy of Abundance. It was a few years ago, and I wanted 33 women to come to it. And I did the launch and I put all the money in the things and I did all the actions and I was actually trying to do all the actions, but I wasn't hooked into the vision and I wasn't really aware of what I was wanting. So I was just taking a bunch of actions. And this is like, again, I knew where I was at. I didn't put the vision and the end result in. So I was just driving around aimlessly, doing all this stuff, but there was no direction and it wasn't really getting me anywhere. And so by the time of the 7 weeks of launching it, I had 7 women join me, but I wanted 33. And I was a week away from this event. And the like a few weeks before, I was like, I want to not have this. I want to stop it. I want to cancel it. I don't want this. I didn't want to follow through. But I know that I follow through no matter what and I complete no matter what. So I stayed the course. And I did my energetic shift and I thought, like, I was like, I'm just doing this to tick a box. And my coach and I decided to do it. Like, I don't even care about it. I hadn't set the vision, I hadn't got excited about it. So I was like, okay, why do I want this? And it was like, I want to channel and speak to more women because the more women there, the more I get energized and channel and teach more wisdom, more downloads, things come. So that's why I wanted it. And the second I just like, oh, amazing. Yes, I actually really want this. The next day, I was randomly talking to this girl and she's talked to me about this giveaway idea. And I was like, oh, that sounds like exactly what I was looking for to fill up my event. So I did that action. It's like the universe gave me the next turn as soon as I connected to the end. I did the action. And the next day, 2 days later, it was 3 days before, 33 women joined the event and it filled up. You may be taking action, but if it's not actually connected to the vision and it's not the next step that's connected there, and it's just randomly, aimlessly driving around, you'll do all the busy work, but it's not getting you anywhere. But the second you connect to the vision and you have the steps and you know the path, you get there. So I'm going to guide you through a little process, but before I do, I want you to tell me and unmute or put in this chat, what is your key takeaway so far? I'm about to give you a little guidance piece to help you understand how to apply this. We'll do a bit of a visualization. This is very emotionally and truly landing. Oh, beautiful, hun. Good job for being open to receive. It can seem simple or it can be, oh, isn't it harder because I've got to know 15 million strategies of this and that, blah, blah, blah. But when you follow this and embody it fully, like you don't need 50 million strategies.
Right. For
Go for it,
me, my vision has become more clearer and I'm focusing on what I really, really love.
hun.
Because yeah, the past few weeks it's been like, oh my gosh, I don't like this, I don't like that, and where's my passion for that gone? But
Yeah,
it's not about that, and I really appreciate what people have put up there, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what you want, and I just wrote it. I wrote it down before I came on,
yeah,
but then I've got even well, I because I can see it, and I'm like, you haven't really written it all down, and I've just done it, and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
yeah,
That literally is it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
for
clarity.
sure.
It wasn't, and I was aware of it for a good few years. I was just doing, and I was getting tired. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
But my that end vision was not as clear.
yeah. And
The
it
passion.
like, I've run alchemy now for 4 years, right? I've run 10 rounds of women through it. You'd think, oh, do you have the same passion for it that you did at the beginning? I do because I keep finding what am I passionate about. It has changed. And I've had to change alchemy to make that because there have been times that I've like gone to launch it and I'm like, I don't care about it anymore. Like I don't want it. Like I'm something didn't land well or I just got bored of teaching stuff. So I had to change it and go, well, how can I care? Am I meant to create it again? If so, how can I connect to this? How can I care? It's like a relationship. When we've been with someone for a while, you're not going to love. the same thing about them all the time. You got to keep falling in love with them. You got to keep finding what is it now? What do I need to tweak to find that desire, that spark, that excitement? So I added in more coaching so I have more intimacy with them, or I added in more metaphysical teaching and not teaching the same stuff all the time, or I added in intuitive readings every time so that we, or whatever, or I get to channel and like, what do I love? Like putting it in as well, right? And it's so key, hun, because we can care about something and then we lose it, or it becomes the monotonous, or it becomes the routine,
Mhm.
and we lose
Right.
why we care about it,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because I see the home I want, and I shared it with someone. They're like, "Oh no, that's too much." So I've stopped communicating with people who gossip, are
Yeah.
negative, and I'm like, because I used to take it personally. I was like, "No, you got to invest in yourself. Don't discuss things
Our
with
energy is
people."
super,
Mhm.
like our frequency is so important, and we need to be aware of like, yeah, which people can we
Mm,
say what to? Like, and just like there are some people I just don't have money conversations and stuff with like them.
yeah,
If they want to go into it, it's like you can talk to, but it's not what I don't talk to you about it because your fear and scar, like all the stuff, like I'm not consumed by all of that. Like, and I don't want to get in that convo, like, because it's not what
mhm.
it doesn't help me create. It just creates limitation, which isn't even true, you know.
But
And I've
then
defied odds, and I've done this, and yeah.
yeah, I get that, and I realized what like the turning point for me was when some of my mentors were like, "You should do this as a business," and I'm like, "What? Okay." Like my Chinese medicine doctor's like, "You need to do this." Because I've grown with them. And then other mentors are like, yeah, you need to write a book because this is really good what you've written. And I'm like, really? You
Mm,
know? So
mm,
I've taken it on board and I'm looked at it and I'm like, they're all talking about this,
mm.
and but it was that belief in me, like, well, this isn't just, I think, well, it
Well,
doesn't
that's
matter what
that's
happened
why
in the
being in
past.
a room of like limitless people and having peers and having mentors that are showing what's possible. Like when I've been in these rooms and I've had that proximity, they open up your field of expansion to see the possibility. When you're in these rooms and they're just all saying fear and the news, this and that,
Yeah.
it's closing you,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And that's why like I invest
And
in
everything's kind of
coaching.
like changed for the better. Even there are men that are really supporting and listening to me without an agenda. And I'm like, huh? This this is really cool.
Awesome, Hunt. Yeah, and I'll say this too, and whoever has some questions and things, we can ask in a second, and I'll take you through this process as well. But the fact is, I want to say something that's really true of right now. The market in coaching or in this space of entrepreneurship, it's harder than it's ever been in many ways because the market's flooded. There are a lot of skeptical, scarred, burned out people from people who've screwed them over. There's a recession, all of these things, right? I'm not going to say none of this is true. It is true, right? It's happening. Now, we could use that as information to say, oh crap, I'm limited, I'm stuck, like scarce, I'm not going to break through, I'm not going to make it, whatever. But there are people who are blitzing it. There are people who are climbing and like creating more abundance now than ever, even though there's a bunch of other people whose businesses have died in the last few years, right? I've been in my business for 10, so I've seen this stuff shift. And a lot of people in that whole time haven't been in the space anymore, or this last year they've really gone out because of the market shift. It's not true, but you need to be smarter and you need to have more skills and you need to have more abilities to navigate the market and to know how to move. And I said this analogy, I can't remember who I said it to, but it's like business in the environment before the last 5 years for me and a lot of people. It was like a meadow that was like you just start walking this direction and it's like you just go that way and you'll it will happen. You'll make money, you'll have business, like you just genuinely head that way and you'll get there. Whereas now it's more like you're trying to go through the jungle of the Amazon or you're trying to climb out Mount Everest and you can't just meander to figure it out. You got to be much more precise. You got to be much more innovative. You got to be much more creative. You got to have the people supporting you that know the way. You got to have the map, the compass, you got to have the tools, because you won't get through there if you don't. But it's still possibilities and opportunity, but you need to be smarter, refined, more laser beam focused, know steps much more, know how to navigate your emotional and energetic realms. You got to be just a laser beam instead of a diffused light, right? But it's still possible. But if you're in convos with people, it's like, oh, look at the market. Oh, man. You're going to get limited and stuck and create that reality, right? Does anyone have any other questions or anything they're wanting to do? I will take you through a little process, but any questions or things that are arisen or you're feeling good? I think most of you are feeling good. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I want you to just close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. I want you to just connect to your body, connect to the presence within your body as you're breathing in and out. And I want you to imagine that you're raising up high in the sky as the spiritual being, energetic being you are, so high up in the sky that you are up among the cosmos, up in the ether, amongst the stars. And you see up there, there's a line and it shows your future, and there's a little node on that future line, there's a little bump. And you go along your future to the bump, and you float back down into that future time, and you've landed into this space where you have these dreams, these desires, these things you want, the things you love, they're all here. You're experiencing them. Feel that feeling, notice what you see, notice what it's like. How amazing is it to be and live and have this? What are you most excited about? What are you loving? And look back at where you used to be just on that call when you were with Miranda in that call, and you know where you used to be, but you're now living this here, and ask yourself, what was that next step I took to arrive here? What was the shift I made? What was the energetic or the action step that led me to this place? The next GPS direction. What was it? And when you've received that nudge, you've got that little GPS nod, just write it down. You can put it in the chat or you can write it down for yourself. What was your next obvious step to this dream to make it a reality? And I want you to also, oh, really? Your vision board fell off the wall. Wow, how crazy. Wonder what that means, hey? I want you to also just notice right now where you are in relation to the vision. Get really clear on where are you? Get honest with yourself. Write down a few things like what are you struggling with? What's the problems? What's the blocks? What's not working? Just write a couple of those things down on the truth of now, because we just got that. Let's write a bit of the truth of now down too. Be honest with yourself about the current location. Yeah, amazing, huh? And the thing is, ladies, this vision is possible. And it's not even just possible, it's actually a part of you is living that vision right now in the quantum space. And there is a way for you to have that, to experience it, even if it's way beyond what you could even imagine in wildest dreams. However, you need to be honest and clear with yourself about where you are exactly right now. And some of these tools and steps that I've shown you like will support you in moving there. And I hope for your sake that like you can just even with this 1 hour with me now navigate your way there. But as I said, a lot of the time it is navigating the Amazon or it's navigating the Everest. I didn't just hear that 5 years ago and get my one lesson with my mentor and then bang, I created 100K and bang, I created 200K and bang, I created abundance and traveling all the world and retreats all over the world. And like, it wasn't just a meadow I meandered to just knowing this bit. I had to get in the arena. I had to get my mentor. I worked with him one on one for 5 years in that space, plus the million I've spent on the physical world, the strategy world, the emotional world, the spiritual world, all of the mentors or programs, my own efforts and because there's basically an ego fighting us every step of the way. It doesn't want us to go on this journey. It is circumventing, stopping us, hindering us. So it's just not a meander meadow. Oh, you'll get there. It's the honesty is like you will get there. You can get there, but it's not an easy ride, and it does require steps, and it does require guidance. It does require support. And so if you found this connection to what I've been sharing, or you found like you're liking the way I'm explaining it, or you want to go and explore deeper how to actually take this journey, what are the ins and outs of working in the emotional, the physical, the spiritual realms to make this happen, and you want to look at getting guidance on all of those ways, because if it hasn't broken through yet, there's because you maybe got guidance in one or two areas, but you're not necessarily getting all three to the depth you need. And that's my specialty. I have spent 10 years, really 20, but 10 in this realm, studying this to the depths and embodying this to the depths and going through every test and challenge and whatever. And I want to support women in this journey. I want you to get your Dharma out in the world and get it out in an incredible way and get your purpose and get your voice and be seen and, get it, the medicine out there. And it really hurts me when I see women have these amazing dreams of purpose to get out there and vision to unlock things for themselves, their family, abundance, travel, freedom, but they can't get there. They're blocked, they're looping because they just don't have a couple of steps. That's it. So if you feel you'd want to explore this journey with me, I do have my program called Gold. I haven't mentioned it tonight. I've talked about alchemy, but Gold is my 8-week journey to do this deep physical work, to know the strategies, to know the abundance pieces, to know how to do find your deep core work, to find your ideal client at the core depths of you, to know how to magnetically market and create this offer that's powerful, to get out in the world, to know how to do soulful sales, to know how to do money energetics. It's all the physical steps, but it's done through downloading, receiving, like from your superconscious all of the way. And it's done through moving the emotional blocks each step of the way. It's got a lot of support in there. It's got my intuitive reading and coaching in there. It's got an accountability coach who helps with the physical side of it. It's got peers. It's got a massive momentum. It's incredible. I love it. So powerful. So if you'd like to have a road mapping session with me where we could actually look at where are you at, what are you looping, what's happening, and I can help find and isolate what are the things that are missing, what are the gaps to help you connect the dots, and for us to be in tune and intuitively check, is gold feel true, is there anything I can offer you to help you in that, or if not, go on your way. I love and support you because I want to only give you what's in your highest. If you'd like to explore a road mapping session and an intuitive call to see if we're a fit to work together or not, it's just an intuitive session to tune in for you. If we're not, you get steps on how to move forward. If we are, we explore options. Book a call. if you feel the call. I would love to explore it with you because I do see women working with like the strategy people and all the things, and that's all well and good and fine, but if you don't look at it from all the angles, you won't get the breakthrough, and it won't be sustainable, and it will be hustle hard, and it just won't be so easy and abundant as it can be. So there's the link, and I'd love to have some calls with you on that if you want to explore that with me. That would be beautiful. But before we wrap up, I want to say thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for being here with me. I've really loved having your energy here, and it's been a divine time with you all. Tell me your core key takeaway. We've done quite a lot of things together. What's your key takeaway? You can unmute or put it in the chat out of everything that we've done. The thing that you're going to leave here and go, this is it. It'll help your mind, like subconscious, remember what you've seen. Put it in the chat out of everything we've done. Or unmute if it's easier. Love to hear. It was all very powerful, truly tuning into the why in all the things and stop focusing on what's been or where I am right now. Yeah. If you put 51% of your time on what you want and why you want it versus where you are, that's going to be huge. No worries, son.
I got
And
a
what about you?
message
So,
that because I do things like I know I've got to prepare for a meeting later and I'll do it. But then, you know, when you got those moments of waiting,
yeah,
I've noticed, and I got the message, work out, enjoy life because it happens. You don't, because then I'm not focusing, why is it, why is it not happening? Why is it not happening? So
mm,
I'm like, yeah, okay, keep enjoying life and working out whatever it is instead of like, I'm focused on it. I've got the vision. You know what you want. And it happens. And it's getting into that,
yeah.
into a more regular.
It's so vital
Does
because
that
when we
make sense?
say, yeah, when we say, why is it not happening?
Yeah.
It's assuming it's not happening because a lot of the time in the quantum too, things can shift and it doesn't happen straight away and show up straight away in the physical. It can take 6 weeks or so. It's the same as putting on an Amazon order and then being like, where is it? Why is it not here? Why is it not here? It can take a week or two or three. It's like, and even it's like, oh, shut up. It's coming. Or there could be blocks and things that we need to move but yeah, amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Great job, hun. Karen, Stephanie, Kendall, Colleen, Linda, Roly, put in the chat or unmute. What's your key takeaway? Hear from you. Beautiful. Focus on where I'm going rather than the small steps along the way. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, when we really know what our the destination is, or like where we're really knowing, like if there was a journey to the Maldives and it required me to get on a plane for all this time and then take a bus here and it's like I don't care if it's got to be this, that, whatever, how long, how much I got to pay. Like I want to get to the bloody Maldives, like I'm so excited about it. So it's the whole when we have that why, the how, no matter what how, like it's I don't know what the quote is, but doesn't matter the how. We'll go anywhere with it. But it's also really important, you saying that, thanks, hun, to enjoy that journey as well. Like if I'm going to that journey, I'm not just going to wait for Maldives and hate everything else and like shut my eyes through the whole thing. Like I'm just going to enjoy looking out the window and seeing like, oh, it's changing. Like, oh, what's this? Like I'm going to enjoy the whole thing. Right? Amazing. All right, my loves. Well, beautiful to have you. Thank you for joining me. Hope you have a beautiful time. Book in a call if you're just wanting to have an intuitive session to do a road mapping, to explore how you can actually arrive where you desire and have that dream become a reality, not loop like you may have been. So, yeah, excited to chat to the ones who've booked in. But anyway, Much love and have a great night or day or wherever it is for you. Ciao. Bye.